Right, starting our wonderful recording. Just again to clarify rules, and Tyler, I know you just said it, but we did this at the beginning of all of these just so people know. You can raise your hand, and immediately we will, well, close to immediately, we will add you in so that you can speak. All right. I am attempting to double check that this has started. Um, you know what? I am going to end it and really quickly come back to it because I think that might have made a mistake. I don't know. We're gonna mess with it.
Well, I'll just go over some other things.
Nope.
Um,
You'll have to
you
join
know,
right
I
back in.
contacted.
There we go. Yes. Here we go. Okay. Sorry about that. I wanted to make sure that the message went out because it still wasn't saying it had started. So welcome everyone. I hope everyone is able to join. You can raise your hand up to speak, and we will invite you to speak and join the audience here. So, hope you all have a good time. Terry has stated he might be able to show up today. We're hoping to hear from him. But other than that, welcome.
And it's an open forum,
Mm-hmm.
so whatever subjects you want to talk about, feel free. Uh, the most obvious is Mad Mages 7 or being the last book out, but also conjecture, if you wish, how it's going to play into martial arcane. And if you want, we can also discuss the possibilities of what's going to happen with the Katina book, which will be out later this end of this month. We have the advantage in this year of having 3 books come out in 3 months, which is kind of a record, I think.
Yeah.
Terry's a maniac.
Do we know the timeline of the Katina book and where it lines up? It should be just after, so somewhere around the christening of the Castle
It's
Shark Kingdom.
before. Well, it's before Shadow Mage, but after, of course, the first book. So it's after
That's about
the
5
death.
years.
I know,
It's
right?
after the it's after the death of Langwin.
Okay.
Okay, it's when the barons of Intamar have taken over and are running it, and Katina and Katina's family are doing their super spy stuff.
Mm-hmm. Exciting. All right. Of course, did anyone have any favorite scenes they really enjoyed out of Mad Mage of Sevendor? Like any particular days or?
Sorry, I had to duck a second. I had a phone call
Oh, that's fine.
coming. So, anybody have any comments?
I am opening my copy to take a look around again. Try to pick out what I really enjoyed.
I'm curious to know what Palgrave's going to do further on in the story because he didn't seem to give much to men other than the idea of magic can work inside the Withering Light.
Mm-hmm.
He his only real well, he had 3 contributions. One is the history of mankind, that man did not evolve on Earth, but that we came from Mars. That was kind of a revelation. The second was that even on Earth, in the Withering Light, at certain times of the day, humans had some very limited magical ability,
Mm-hmm.
and from that, as you talked about universal time, uh, it was on the part of the day when the Earth's rotation had wherever you were on the planet was away from the withering light. So you had the mass of the planet between you and the withering light. Those are
Yeah.
all three of those things are going to be important in well, at least two of the three in the future.
I think the number one takeaway I have is the portal system. I know people were talking about it was the Stargate system, not quite because that is supposed to like cross like vast distances. This is just planetary transport, and a lot of interest I think should be garnered right there because planetary transport is
Well,
something that would really open up how many places you can get for the what is the mercantile interest for the Magi?
yeah.
That
Well,
sounds like
I
a lot of
mean,
useful stuff.
yeah. I mean, the, using the ways you can get a couple of people, right?
Mm-hmm.
With the portals, you can move hundreds of people and wagons and horses and goats. You know, it's a doorway,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't have the net. You don't need but a low level mage to open the portal, and you don't have the physical effects of going through the waves, the nausea. Min got the concussions from the transporting too much.
Yeah.
This seems to negate all that.
My next concern with them is more speculation on the fact that we had a lot of hints that he was going to be working with the pocket wands, right? And trying to transport people with that. With these portals, are we completely discounting carrying people by wand?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, as portable as that one arch is, I would still think a huckster rod would be more covert.
For sure.
If you can keep people alive inside them, they'd be great prisons.
Ooh.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of the DC universe with the Phantom Zone.
Oh, yeah, that is a thing.
Yep.
In
But
regards to the gateways, we've shown that like the Malapa can connect to places outside the realms of darkness. Would eventually, decades down the line, would we be able to maybe connect a gateway back to Earth so that all of those Forsaken that are like, hey man, magic is too much for me, can I go home? They can just walk right through out to London Square or wherever.
we don't
they're.
know the limitations of this yet.
Yeah, yeah. I was about to say we know that there was a limitation for the ways, but we don't know the
700
limitations
miles.
here.
Something
Yeah.
to do with the curvature of the Earth and
Well, the planet. Yeah.
yeah, the planet. I'm sorry, not Earth. But yeah, 735 miles or some odd number like that. Um, yeah, anything's possible. But I'm wondering. Now I'm thinking, could they get up to the moon station with one of these? Because one of the takeaways from that date is something important is up on that moon station that is
Mm-hmm.
necessary for recalling the New Horizon.
Do we know if the Magisphere reaches that far? And if there is a technological way to make the other end of the portal hold open? Because we have dimensional gateways talked about between, the stars in space travel on the technology side. Could we maybe have a technology gate on one side and a magic gate on the other?
That's a scary question, I'm afraid, but I mean, I could see it. Well, Min has set up these archways so they require very little intervention.
If you
Actually,
can,
I had
DC.
a point on that.
Good.
I had a curious idea. Since the huckster pockets work as they do, would it be possible basically combining how the huckster pockets work with the ways?
Oh.
Because if I remember correctly, the ways themselves don't have a ton of explanation on them, but it seems more like you're just passing between like some kind of natural connection between certain points.
Mm-hmm.
If a Hoxter pocket then ends up creating an internal, essentially a small pocket realm, what if that pocket realm essentially acted as a bridge between a spot? And technically, since there's no space between the actual, the Alkenways themselves, would that technically be able to act as a very brief, instead of actual interior space, just act as an aperture instead? So maybe the gates would basically just act as the Hoxter pocket holding it open, as opposed to having an internal space.
I could be wrong, but I seem to recall when they were first explaining the ways, it wasn't so much that you moved through them, but that you were moving space around you. So you're staying
Right.
still, but the planet is moving. So
Right.
I'm not certain how that would work out with the dimensional magics.
Right. And so then, with that same space, you then have the Hoxter pockets that actually have a sustained dimensional effect, where you're actually creating a pocket realm within something, and then able to move it through. So what if instead it was the same thing? I'm not really explaining this well, my bad.
Using the pockets to kind of fold over
Okay.
space so that you can get farther.
Right. So instead of a single blip where you're just essentially grabbing a chunk of space that you're in and moving it to another Alpine waypoint, the same sustaining effect that the Hoxter stones basically can create could be done on a waypoint.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder if that might be one potential application of it.
Don't know, but I'm hoping in Martial Arcane we get this a little more fleshed out than what we've learned today.
Yeah.
I
I hope so.
Both suggestions really, I would love to hear Terry's take on that, because I mean he's the only one who can give the final answer on these. But
Of course.
yeah, like these sound like some potential like good usage that we'll be seeing in the future. We're trying to like get around the world at this point in Calidor for all kinds of things, so it's a question of like what he finds useful for storytelling, I guess.
Yeah, well, these archways kind of came out of nowhere, and
Yeah, none of us expected that.
He hadn't foreshadowed this, but he had been working on the Hoxter zones with Terran.
I mean, he foreshadowed all the
Changes
people, but
made.
the Stone Singer kind of takes the win for the most unexpected bonus.
Yep. It's a bunch of different minerals. It's not like you just throw up an arch and it's all magic.
Right.
Quantum, and it requires very specific minerals in specific orders in specific places around that arch, and the stone circle that encloses the area.
Right.
And so hopefully we'll learn more, because that's intriguing, but
Yeah.
it will definitely change the economics of Calidor.
Absolutely. And I had
One of the things I really enjoy about the world building is that they are going down this one path until all of a sudden something comes out of left field and they end up going in an entirely different direction, and that's how the real world works as far as technological revolutions go.
Yeah.
And I'd love to see some applied applications of bluestone at some point too, because you have all this research going on over at Greenflower.
Hold that
I'm sure Mice and Amana has a lot that she's delved into on that subject.
Oh, probably.
Like,
Yeah.
honestly,
bluestone bones.
yeah.
Which, there's that. Because specifically the bluestone, if I'm remembering properly, doesn't that just help to sustain? Isn't it sustaining an enneagram?
Something like
It
that.
actually acts as a gateway into the other world.
Into the other world.
My impression was that not only like it encouraged Enneagram's not the right word, sustenance, as well as continuing the touch upon the other world, so that you could bridge more easily.
Okay.
So it is
You actually
both.
can be in both at the same time,
Yeah.
which is
Right.
wild.
And haven't we heard that there are problems with the other world? Because, like, in the first book, we have Min sending his soul across and saying that there are things that he can't stay in there for, because it's supposed to be super
there's
dangerous.
Things he didn't want to see. Yeah, there are things in the other world that are too fearful to contemplate.
Right.
That's what he said.
And so with the bluestone around the place, there are some things that could really screw with stuff.
Yeah. Because, I mean, even just taking it from the human angle, because with the other world, people having their own, seemingly psychic presence there, it's very easy to, if you stay in there too long or look in the wrong corridor, you end up looking at some of the worst parts of humanity. You can literally just stare into madness
So
on a mass scale. Mess
so
just taking people
Mad
and
Mage's
living.
Seven Door looks at madness in the other world. That's
Mhm.
wild.
Mm-hmm.
That's
But
not going to end well.
notice how the book is suddenly going into horror genre. We have the Nemovorts drinking blood now, quasi vampire-like,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and now we've got beings from the other
Fire.
Ugh. Don't
I
say it.
believe Terry said in the AMA that there was going to be basically one of every genre you can think of in this series eventually, whether it's a side
I
series
love it.
or a main story, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yep, people were talking about the sparkly vampire Twilight crap, and how that would fit in here, and the sexual component, of which Terry said that could definitely also possibly be there.
Alia needs her own side story.
Look, I just don't want to see the space spiders. I know that we're eventually going to have TV shows and whatnot, and oh, good lord. No.
Yep.
There are no such
They
thing
look
as space
like
spiders.
from,
There are no such thing as space spiders.
They look like the bugs from Starship Troopers. Just think about it.
Okay, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Would you like to know more?
No. As someone with, like, really acute arachnophobia. Nope, I'm good.
Pass, hard pass on the spiders.
Yep.
They're cute.
I think I sent the message somewhere about the Nostalgia Critics version of Lost in Space. Spiders!
I put those pictures up. That's the first thing I thought of when the spiders showed up.
Mm-hmm.
Was those god awful robotic spiders symbiotic?
Where he had, like, injected his DNA with the spider. Oh, it's just, no. Ugh.
Where do you think Azar's going? Because I didn't catch it the first two listens, but he talks about, Minolin talks about at the very beginning of chapter 7. It's like 2.5 minutes in because I've just listened, I've not read. But he talks about before Azar leaves, he's going to have to throw him a fate. Because it. So I want to know where he's going. So, because that threw all of what I thought was going to happen with Azar off, because I didn't realize Azar was leaving until I caught that like my third time through a listening.
It's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be in Martial Arcane, but we don't know. Azar asks Min a bunch of questions, and Min has no idea what he's talking about. Just gives him BS answers.
Yeah.
And so we really don't know what's going on in Azar's head.
Whatever it is, Azar concludes it before the end of the story, though, because like he comes back around and talks about it, and then he says, "But I won't discuss what was said then and what he did."
Yep.
So like,
'Cause
whatever it is,
it's in Martial Arcane,
Mm.
and we don't know.
and he survives. So there's that.
TBD?
Does he become a priest at some mission somewhere?
Azar taking holy orders?
We don't expect. Like, there's a whole arc there where he went off and maybe eloped or something like that. I don't know.
You know,
I posted in the forum channel here, but I think he proposed marriage to somebody very, very highborn, like in the royal line of succession.
well, you know, we're talking about Azar might be taking holy orders, and so it's either doing or marriage. So
Yeah.
one of the two there.
Yep. Yeah, is
Well,
he
you
marrying
said
one
he-
of Angwin's
Oh,
sisters? Yeah.
That's a good idea. That's a definite option.
Yep.
Well, he's been Angwin's executioner for what, 3 years now? So he must have seen them around the court.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
Yeah.
there's something blossoming behind the scenes. We don't know.
I didn't get any other hints though, like that it would be any specific person. But my thought was that it was somebody high profile as well that he just eloped with or got married to.
You know, being
So I don't know
Azar.
why I got drawn there because I don't think there's any hints that say that it's something like that.
Well, you know, being
Well, it said
Azar,
that he's
it
going
could
to
very
get
well
married.
it could very well be someone who is combat oriented. So we're likely to see a war mage of some type if we see anybody.
I'm not sure why the Curio would be upset about that though, if that's what he did say.
That's fair.
You
Well,
know.
it's how he does it and when he does it.
He's giving the castle to a holy order.
Yeah. Or is yeah.
Don't say yeah,
But,
great.
I just think Nuecia, whatever her name is, I think she's just too much of, like, too obvious to me. That's my only thing against her, is being
Who?
the one that he gets with, is it just, to me, it seems too obvious.
Who?
I get the sense that Nathua wouldn't marry anybody ever.
Oh.
She's kind of married to the battle.
I mean, we had speculated that it was going to be Tyndall that kind of like hit on her and whatnot, but that was too obvious. So
well, we all guessed that, and I told that to Terry, and Terry immediately changed it. So that went away real quick.
oh, okay. So we blame Turl.
Yep, blame me. But what do you guys think about the trial of Maid Bessie?
Oh, that.
I'm expecting a bastard to come out of it.
Sorry, wait a minute, hold on. I only did a one-time through. So what?
This is like
Refresh me a little bit. I just went through it one time.
we know.
Bessie was the bastard niece of one of the Gilmoran counts, or not counts, who was killed before
Barony.
the Poros. Yeah, Barony.
Very, very much like if you remember Knight's Mage, Tyndall and Rondell meet her at one of the estates while they're spying in Gilmora during the Goblin invasion, and
Yeah,
she
they had
pretends.
that
Yeah.
just-
She pretends to be the daughter that has gone missing, and she goes off to Gilmora to be with her
I don't think they
family.
gave a conclusion to that, right?
They
Well, we
have
gave
announced
her an option.
they yeah.
I mean, like now.
Okay,
Since
so yes.
how long-
She went there, got married. Maid Bessie shows up in book 10 in Necromancer, where Minolin and Gareth are having these people keep bothering Gareth. They decide to sit down and talk. We know this is Bessie, who is sent back to her homeland. So now we have we have two girls. It's not Maid Bessie. What's her name? But we have the two girls there, and then Azar in book 14. No, not Azar. Crap. Astral. In book 14, makes a ruling that causes this whole war to occur. And it is involving those two. So there is. Yes, that is precise. And then he invited Tyndall and Rondell to come speak in trial. So that's going to go real well.
Paul was in command at the time, so he's got that 100% of that responsibility.
And he's going to have to testify under a truth tell.
Oh,
which is
jeez.
even worse. And
He's gonna come up with a brand new charm to counter it.
Or, you know, we might see the pushing of boundaries for truth tell. I mean, there's some speculation that in Harry Potter, the Veritaserum can be gone around because of, like, if you were someone like Dumbledore or whatnot, you could just speak around the truth. And maybe we can do the same if you have presence of mind as a proper magi under truth tell to know, well, I can say this, but if I don't speak plainly, like I'm not questioned on these points, then it won't be a problem.
certainly couldn't do that.
Yeah,
She
Tin probably can't.
over and over again that she's told me her name was this. I didn't know, or she
Yeah.
told me that this was her name. Don't mention that you knew that that wasn't. Just keep
Later,
saying she
just
told
keep
me
saying
this was
she
her
told
name.
me at the time that this is And then if someone asks, well, what about later? Well, shit.
All we gotta do is ask, did you know? Oops.
But you mean it's going to be a trial.
She wasn't.
Yeah.
But what do you think of the name of the child? And do you think it's Ron or Tim?
Oh.
Oh my god, that's true.
Oh.
Oh my goodness. Do you
Yeah.
really think that one of the kids is one of the boys? Or the kid is one of the boys?
Awkward.
What's her name? What did she name it? Ronkin?
Do we have a name? Or are you just
Ron-
speculating?
No, that she said that's an old family name. Ronkin.
That just sounds like Terry trying to mess with us. That's too on the nose.
No, she named it. Well, she's in a bad spot. I mean, but she didn't name it after her husband. She named it after her two paramours.
Uh,
And that could be an issue. Katina would gut Ron if she ever found out.
I don't know.
Would she? 'Cause, yeah, before-
She met Ron. She may be okay with it.
And Tim's girlfriend, she'd probably kill him just anyhow.
Oh yeah, she's sorry.
Yeah.
Wait, you mean the girl from up by the Chevalar? She's not Kasari. She's
She's not gonna sorry.
She's had
What is the name of that city? And Fernie, yeah.
So maybe by lineage, but not by inclination.
Well, they all had Kasari training for Kasari to deliver. And so they mentioned that everybody there had some amount of the Kasari training, but some more than others. And I can't think of her name right now, but she's a no-nonsense person.
Hmm. Any other suggestions on topics? Please not space spiders. Please, Lord, no.
No.
Speaking of space fighters,
No, there will be no speaking of space spiders.
Do we think?
guys put any more conversation into the galactic district that we were talking about last time? I'm not sure if you guys have already talked about that or not, but that's a good segue. I think space fighters idea. Forgot about that.
Oh, Galactic History?
Well, it
You
was
know,
formed by the Orion Empire, so obviously Mike had to have taken them from a planet that either the Orions or one of their client species has been to. So who knows?
they're clearly
how
using the
far
Mullapart
away-
to import things.
Hmm.
Like, we know that they're pulling eggs out there. And these Varimal might be the Parenchek eggs.
Yeah, so that's interesting about those guys. But what I was talking about is like maybe the human connection to that, to the greater Orion Empire, and how humans mixed in so much with that. And if there's been a time delay because of the wormhole thing and the other side of the galaxy thing, like where the history, Earth history, kind of may line up with the greater galactic issues. If you guys thought that showed any more information from the book anymore.
It sounded like humanoids had developed elsewhere and then eventually ended up on Mars, delayed themselves, lost some of that tech, collapsed Mars to being what it was, goes to Earth. It seems to be like a ongoing, like, humanity has been around, but we have been kind of like one of the lesser species of the galaxy.
What the historian
Yeah.
said, that, you know, they rise and they fall. It's just a continuous cycle.
Mm-hmm.
So I bring
It
it up.
sounded to me.
Do you think there's a human alcohol connection deeper? Because last time we were talking about how maybe the alcohol are an offshoot of humanity, and that might be one option.
Ooh.
Like maybe they were actually manufactured species, you know.
Or perhaps
Well,
they
that's messed
are
up.
descended from the species that created humanity.
Right.
My thought would be like, we have all of the, created in God's image folklore. What if they meant, we're created in the image of the people who invented our species? We just kind of look cartoonishly like them, so,
Huh.
So
and the
time
Elon keep that tradition.
time frame from when he says that they left Earth to now. Like, what year was it, ballpark? Like, how many years from now? Was it
Oh,
estimated?
so we know that
10,000 years?
it's somewhere between 900 and 700 for Perwin and
No,
whatnot.
from when they left Earth. From
I'm trying to backtrack it.
2022 to 2056 or 2300 and something.
I see what you're saying.
When,
Yeah, he said they left, what was it, like 100 years after Satchko died? Wasn't that when the time
that's what I was
came?
wondering, is because they put it in reference comparing it to some of the musicians and stuff like that. So
Yep.
I wasn't sure.
Yep. So it puts them in like the 23rd century.
Yeah.
That's what I recall is something about the 23rd century.
Mm-hmm.
I know that she's made, what's her name? Why can't I remember her name? The Alkaline we all love.
The last gen?
The last team?
The last team made references to how advanced our technology was in such a short comparison time frame, and why our technology may have advanced so fast compared to other human civilizations.
We didn't. The technology to leave Earth we got from aliens who came to our planet and offered to ferry us around space.
And wasn't that the second group of aliens? Because like there was an invasion, or am I thinking of the wrong series?
Wrong theories.
Okay. Sorry.
But humans were on Earth. We had the Third World War. The planet was in bad shape, and an alien species showed up and gave them the ability to do space travel. I don't know
Right.
what the
And that's not including Yith. Like, we didn't even know Yith was on Earth, right?
Mm-hmm. But we know that Yith have hidden
I'm sure
around.
Somebody knew.
Yeah, we know the Yith have hidden themselves across the galaxy.
Alright, I was just curious, since you mentioned space fighters, may as well bring up that stuff if you guys haven't already busted
And
into it.
by the way, just for fun, do we think that the Formless are here to hunt the Yith, or that they came specifically to take out the Celestial Mothers and whatnot? Because it could just be a twofer, or it could be something else.
I think the
They eat
hidden, and they don't even know he's there.
Mm.
I think it's anybody who's got like power, because they went after one of the two-headed thing that's in Min's mind.
Oh, as a method, yeah.
Yeah, so I think anybody with magic on a certain level pops up on their radar and.
Well, they eat magic. They that's one of their explicit. It's been stated way
Right.
earlier that
But
that's
the Yith
what
is
they
hiding
live
up
off
by-
of. So, but yeah, I don't think they know that the Yith is on Calidor, and I
Yes,
think
he's
the Yith
hiding
is
in an
actually
object
kind of
car.
amused
Mm.
that they're like, a mile away from each other, but because they're locked in the deeps and he's up closer to the surface, they don't know he's there.
Yeah.
Timeline, since we're talking about Azimuth, I mean, Min almost killed everybody he loves because of Azimuth. Is there any indication that he might be able to get a little more control for the next story? Because I mean, that's kind of a big. Like, I'm glad they did this arc to focus on his multiple personality disorder, but it didn't really come to any conclusion or improvement at the end of it. Like, he hasn't been
Well,
able to.
Yeah, and it won't
I
for
think
18 more months, I would think.
So
I think it ended.
might give him a ability to manually switch from one to the other, even if there are, limitations or whatever on it. It's still just completely random day to day. Like you said several times, I really hope X person doesn't show up while I'm doing this today, or
Mm-hmm.
will really mess that up,
got the
with
feeling
madness like that, you're
the
gonna have to
end-
hope.
I got the feeling at the end after the 3C mind work trip, he wasn't. It wasn't that he had more control, but that they were starting to integrate versus just be on one on all the time. Instead, it's everybody in the background, not coming to the fore unless something really triggers it.
Because I did kind of got the opposite vibe. Now I did only go through once, but I kind of got the opposite vibe that it's still, you know, way up in the air.
Oh no, I'm not saying it's fixed now. I'm saying that they're starting to integrate, not go away. Does that make sense? Like
Yeah.
they'll be always all of them always on in the background, and he can control that better than
Well,
having
after that
one
trip,
full control.
he should have some more
Yeah.
control over things, thanks to the mind wart and everything else. Just kind of
Control. I think
Yeah.
the people who come up are random. I mean, Cherry told he rolled a 10-sided die to decide which personality would manifest in a given day. So it's random. Although there have been times where Min was confronted with something and the right personality stepped forward to aid him. So,
On the same timeline, he was talking about the soldier mindset. Sorry, guys, like I said, I'm not really on the meetings right now. But Anders, yeah. So he was talking about how he would be the ideal one to integrate the intelligence. Is that intelligence that he was given, and I guess it's a two-part thing, is that intelligence that he was given one of the military special forces type ones, or is it is it just another level 5 one, or is it one of the more military-oriented ones that he would need to get into the base, even though he doesn't have access? Is that one on his waist the type that he would need?
what I got out of this is the AI. Ariel told him he needs to either be a mage lord, archmage, with responsibilities in a broader area more than one power to access that, or he needed to have a letter or some sort of permission from the UN. Which
Yeah.
he's not going to get.
I think what you're asking though is what level of intelligence is it a military or not. So it sounded to me that Forseti had sent a replacement for him previously, and Forseti is trying to upgrade himself to, I think, a level 5 or level 4, something like that right now.
Yeah, there was level 5, but then there was the 5 SE ones, right?
The military
You're
military
level
ones, yeah.
5, and then you're level 5 military grade.
I think it was MI, but I just noticed Logan would like to join, so I'll invite them. But the point is, I believe that it was a replacement for the original Forseti, which is a level 3, and not military or anything, because he is trying to
Right.
upgrade himself right now. So he just kind of copied himself, and boom, here's a blank one. You can name it what you want, and we'll be over here in the Jevalar doing stuff.
Okay, so it's probably not the military grade one, though.
Right.
Well, no. Didn't Min have the 5 in his hands when he went to the Alcohol Council?
I think he had a blank one.
Yes, blank.
He had a blank.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's only one, I think, of the 5M, or am I?
Yeah, I believe there was only one.
There's a limited number of
Yeah.
of the military grade. I know that Forseti was trying to upgrade to a military grade one.
Yes.
But he doesn't have programming for it, and he can only replicate
So
it.
that'll come out in the next round. Like that dagger is definitely the thing that they need. Like he should give that
Clearly.
to Sky Lady, what's her name? The one from
Natia.
American, yeah. And
So
have her
I'm
take-
wondering if Min reconstitutes that Gerlach Herring, this guy, he has that for us. He's the military guy.
I think
Gerlach.
about him. Totally yes. Just like he kind of did with the hand baby. To do like
Yeah.
Well, like he did with what's his name, the leader of the City of Rainbows and his wife in the new bodies.
Editus.
Eritas.
Eritas.
Yes, Eritas. Thank you.
Hold on,
Yeah.
that's-
With Lelastian's new toy,
Yeah.
they make a new body from scratch to upload the that per se the enneagram from the ghost drop into. Could they make
alive or undead?
a new?
That's what
Yeah.
Yes.
Or could they put him in as the replacement AI for the staff of the Archmage?
Well, I don't know about mixing him with Pat. I don't think that he's even talked about being able to do that.
We haven't seen the stuff the Archmage yet, have we?
No, not yet. But
We
that's
should wait.
Just the
We got the
dagger.
dagger. We got the
he's
dagger.
got the dagger. But that doesn't have the intelligence in it, and it's not tech. It's not.
We don't know. We don't know that yet. I believe I recall them saying that the staff of the Archmage was taken apart and reforged by the Elon into the dagger, and the
No, the
They're-
sword. Right? Did you make it into a sword? They reforged it into a sword and failure.
you
They
might be
removed
right,
the-
but I'm not sure. I know they removed the 9 stones from it, but
what I
it still
remember-
had the. Go ahead.
What I remember is that they removed the stones from the stuff of the Archmage, and then they tried to make a sword out of it. Something.
Sort of the defender. Yeah.
Yeah. Same
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
first
yeah.
book. And that
Yep.
didn't work to win the war.
Correct.
But that's all I
But,
remember.
the idea of Carolyn coming back, whatever his name is, I think that would be kind of interesting to get those codes. But I think that code along the dagger is going to be what he needs to get at least some
Multiple codes. One
Well,
code,
he
they open
definitely-
the door in, they can't get into the military compound at the Cave of the Ages.
Well,
And
that's what I'm thinking.
Corsetti said you need the access code, and I don't have those codes. Only a military grade
Mhm.
AI has those codes. So the code on that dagger could be the code to the door, or it may be the code to get into the moon base. We don't
Yeah,
know.
either one. Or the code to release the ones on Serenity. Like that code.
Or maybe it's the code for the nuclear launch button. We don't know.
Yeah.
I-
There
I
you
think
go.
Rossetti.
It could just be the master login for the admin account on Calnet.
Well, how weird was that there's a prophecy related to it that the Nablus guy was like, you're going to need this. Just saying. Like,
Mm-hmm.
hold on to this.
Hang on to this. You want one. Yep.
I'm sure like Min's like, what is going on with this?
Yeah, I was surprised he just handed it over.
Well, that's
Prophecy
what makes
scares
it
people.
a Prophecy. Like,
Yeah.
by the way, you're going to need you. Like, so the Knights of Nablus thing, does that mean Merlin and Vor are like, calm down now? Like, they're done? Like, they're
Probably not.
They're not part of the
They're-
kingdom.
There didn't men set up insurrection there? I think they're going to be fighting.
Yeah, I think that's infighting with those two duchies right now, and it's probably going to be, 5 books or more before they consider talking to Castlestar?
Yep.
But we didn't say anything about Vor specifically. This was all
No. Merwin.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
not certain that it'll
Yeah,
be
but-
that long. I think I get the impression that once they're, it's gonna be a coup, and I think it'll be relatively quick when the Duke of Merwin is overthrown. Maybe a book or two, but I think the kingdom will come into crisis a lot faster than any of us really think.
Probably.
And Min will be ascending to Archmage.
Do we
fairly-
think?
fairly soon?
Do we
Well, one
think
thing-
the Duke of Merwin is going
Not
to?
voluntarily, by the way.
Well, I
Yeah.
think the title thing, he has to in order to have the accesses. I think that gaining Archmage is going to also give him, because then that puts him over all humanity or all Calidor or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and that raises his level of authority locally to a level that maybe he'll have more influence.
Well,
over.
does it? Because he will not have authority over the
Well-
the Alpha Alon across the sea.
Yeah.
He won't
So
have authority over the human colonies across the sea. It's a title. It's a title with no real power.
So it occurs to me that we really should be thinking about whether or not the Duke of Merwin is going to be beholden to Min for the bribe, because he's only attaining that
Oh, for sure.
seat because of it. But then, of course, we also know that bribery is how we lost the Majocracy in the first place. They kept paying the Narasi to go away.
But they
So,
also kept getting
how far does this go?
No,
Well, Min said that lesson wasn't lost on him, so
Penny really appreciated the way he handled that.
Mm-hmm. Well, of course, she's very pro-imperial.
So, I mean, they've left war on the table. I'm not talking about war.
Well,
Even though it's where a
I
lot of
wanted to
people
talk
come
about Vor a second, though. Didn't they mention that Vor was under the sway of Berlin?
Yes, they did. So
Absolutely.
closely related, you're tied in because of
basically
the
they're a client state.
Yeah,
Yeah, same way Ramirez to Castal before the kingdom.
right.
Aw.
Okay, yeah. So I don't think we need to know what's going on in Vor. We kind of know whatever's going on in Merlin is going to control whatever Vor wants to do.
Yeah.
Sure. But then the king pulled off a masterful stroke and he's like, look, these duchies, they're up in the air. Whoever figures out Paris gets them.
Yep,
That's kind of awesome.
yep.
That's going to end
Azar's
badly for
already
Turl.
on
Is that what you think Azar's doing? Oh my god.
the boat. Azar gets
That's really good. Take a break and let him conquer Paris.
jumped on a boat, gonna go conquer.
You know, it was all Pentandra and Auntie May's fault. They had a prophecy backing it up. Mm-hmm.
You know, actually, that would kind of be cool. I don't think it fits, though, with the timeline of the book, because I think the king's comments came at the end of the book. And Azar was already back by then and finished off whatever he was doing. But, I think that's a funny idea. I do like that.
With the ways he can be
Pretty
anywhere
sure-
he wants to be.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure Azar made his declaration that we don't know what it is just after the king had made that proclamation at the Curia.
Okay, maybe.
So
I'll have to look at the timing on that.
they both happened at the Curia, but that's a several day span. I'm not sure what happened first.
Yeah. I mean, we could always wait for the book, but it is fun to speculate that he is now gone to Faris and we're having Azar just conquer
Through the
that.
jungle, killing everything in sight. Yeah,
Oh, that doesn't sound like him. Mm-mm.
him with Caswallen and
Oh.
And then
I'm positive that Min has had Yugi put a waystone at Faris years
there's
ago
one
at
there.
this point.
There's one
Yeah.
at the mercantile exchange. Did
Yeah, I was
you-
gonna say they get it to the mercantile, you know?
Yep.
Yeah,
Been
they
there
can
all
get
along.
there anytime.
Yep.
Actually, with it at the
Take it
Mercantile,
in a Hawkster pocket, set it up, and then just march your troops right into the city square.
I was about to say, we could drop a gate there now. If there's
Well,
the
they
Hawkster
put a cover
pocket.
there, 'cause he
He's
needs
got
to
that
go-
pocket.
Yeah.
But he needs to go to the Temple of Orvatus, where all those Andronites that were sent that had magic, and there were some secrets there that he needs to get. He was
Well, why
told-
go undercover when you are in control of the city? You can just waltz in
Well,
broad
I don't
daylight.
think he should have no way in going there to find out what's going on, to do the Yugi kind of understand what he has to fight there. He needs to get to Orvatus first.
Uh-huh.
They've hung, and this is maybe how they get Abatal to manifest. They got to get to there to find out the
I
secret.
don't know. I don't think Avatar is going to be as positive a thing as people are guessing. He had something to do with the fall. Like, he
Yeah.
went
He was
into-
given the wrong figures, and it can
Right.
happen to anybody.
That's correct. He was the engineer in charge. And the New Denver group put out a virus that wiped out the AI, so they were having to do hand calculate rather than depend on
So
the
because
AI.
he can't do basic math.
Well, it's probably pretty complex math.
No, it probably is.
Have any of y'all done calculus? It ain't easy.
Yeah. No.
When you're
I,
mixing in spellcraft, it just adds an extra layer of complexity.
as a tutor, yeah, no, it's tough getting that into people's heads.
Yep.
But if I had to guess, when the Avatar and the new Rising comes up, I think Forseti first will crack the code to bring down the eight or so, was it 16 Forsaken?
The Serenity.
Yeah,
The Serenity.
because at some point it was mentioned that it was like it would take between 4 months and 2.5 years. Or
Well,
four.
he was rewriting the code because the AI for the station was burned up. So he is reprogramming everything there, and he needs to write a program which will cause the dock clamps to release. And then
Right.
he
Well, he
can
was just brute forcing like a
Yeah.
access code.
But it was said during this book that those people were left there in intention. That this was a
Yeah.
way to get the Horizon back. That those people are going to play an important role.
Oh, I'm sure they will, but think of this. You've got people with very advanced technology and very advanced ideas how civilization run who are going to come down to Earth and find a medieval culture, and their allies are going to be the AIs. All the AIs are, Corsetti is totally 100% linked to the Forsaken.
Yeah.
Sure. And they might even have higher clearance than Min when they come back. That could be a whole other
Yep.
That's absolutely.
Yep.
Here's a question. When the Horizon was sent away, were the people who perpetrated this put back into stasis on the Horizon?
It sounded
yeah,
like
but
people were
people
going
that-
back into stasis while it was
That could
leaving.
be the 18 on the Serenity.
Yeah.
Or they
So,
became
Yeah.
so when they bring them back, could Avatal, the bodily be on the Horizon? Wasn't it a direct result of the sinking of Perwin that they sent them away?
No.
It was
The
like-
reason the Forsaken were sent away was because they were trying to destroy magic. So my guess would be that they were trying to reproduce the Javelar effect by recreating the stone, whatever it's called.
Creating a giant EMP over the whole country.
Right. They might not have known anything about the formless either. Like, I mean, they may have known there's another species, but I don't think that they knew about the historical component of what they really were.
Most
So
likely
we were,
did.
like arrogant humans just trying to get rid of all the magical ones without knowing what that would do in a grander.
Yep.
We just never told.
Well, the Alkalan, even the stories they gave him with the child version, they never gave him the full version. They never.
What about his connection to the other civilizations? Because we don't know. There could be a technically advanced civilization on Galador. Still.
If there is, it's probably the Valley people.
Well, wait.
I imagine one of the other colonies on a different continent, they might even be some sort of a cyberpunk dystopia society at the moment,
Could be.
just
Well,
clinging with,
it is.
everything's put together with duct tape and good intentions because they
Harry
have no
has said that.
replicators anymore.
Harry said that we're going to find some human colony that has technology, but it's not going to be good technology. It's not going to be technology that's going to be immediately useful. He's thinking kind of like Tuba with 1950s cars,
Mm.
Road Warrior, where people are piecing things together out of other things.
Yeah. Like they have technomancers kind of thing. Like
Yeah.
this thing.
Well, that sounds
But
interesting.
there's a group of humans. There were two groups of humans who ran away. The Secret Tower people went to the Broken Isles, and what was left of the Colonial Defense Force crossed
They went back
the sea.
to their
And
count.
they went over across the sea to somewhere, across that.
To where the
polar
Drylands
map.
Council is.
Yeah, they
there.
went to the Islands Council.
Yep.
Anyone
So-
remember from Hawkmaiden when they alluded to the secret fire as if they were also from some sort of colonial offsplit?
I'm wondering
I think
if
that's
the
the
Secret
impression that
Fire.
I want to know what's. I want to know what's buried under there.
I still do too. Yeah.
It's a fusion reactor.
It
Yeah.
could be. It could
Yeah.
fire, could be.
Yep.
Maybe.
I'm going to ask Adara about it right now. She's already pissed enough at Min for getting rid of half the Westwood for a lake and
Yep.
Yep.
to sell snowstone. You can't, hey, can we dismantle your family's
But you're going to have
sacred
great
fire
fishing.
pit?
You're gonna have great fishing. It's going to be a resort zone.
I
Rabbi,
do like that
Not on
they
board with it.
worked together to make it a nice lake with a shallow area and
Yep.
a deeper
Yeah,
area.
Hope
Yeah.
Watch.
I think
And
she
it's-
accepted it once it was explained to her what's going on.
Well, it's
Yeah.
also going to be right next to the car shack hidden city.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I'm surprised that he didn't go deep enough to like screw with some of that because it's in the same direction, right?
Well, the entrance that they went to was just outside the snowstone area of effect,
Right.
so I think the mansion, for the most part, is not inside of the snowstone area of effect. So I think it's
He
safe
gave his
from
kid one of his
being
toys.
taken away from.
Hmm.
Don't know, but the car shack tunnel, so they may expand it in any direction. And they put a waystone down there, so
And we did.
Just to see,
he's going
United
to put an arch there.
flipping a coin.
Yeah.
I expect the old Midland would have explored it, and the new Midland has like a car check in his head telling him that it's not done exploring
Yeah,
there. still
That's
before.
very disrespectful.
Well, there's probably a fall rock down there. He doesn't want to go.
You mean to build Rozaku?
Yeah.
The thing I'm still very
Oh,
confused
never
about,
dig
I
deep.
remember, you guys talked about it a bit earlier, but I couldn't talk back then. I was doing something else as well. Was the Magisphere, because you have these space stations that are outside the Magisphere, but there are a bunch of events where magic is cast outside the Magisphere, like when the great celestial mothers redirect asteroids like miles and miles from the planet. like
That's
thousands of
true.
miles. So I'm wondering what Magisphere actually does.
It's probably an accessible
imagine
region,
you could-
and then you can affect things outside it, but you can only do it while you're in the Magisphere.
You're
Probably.
using the Magisphere for the energy to affect change on the physical universe. So you can't use magic while you're on the station, but you could use magic to affect the station from the surface.
But we also see people use magic on Earth, which doesn't have a Magisphere.
By the way, I
No,
keep
it's
forgetting to
not a-
ask,
Not substantially, but
what do we think
Well,
about
no,
the
he-
ending
they said
of?
at minimal.
They said that when, what was it, the 13th hour, when the rotation of the Earth was directly opposed to where
to the galactic
the
center.
Black Sphere, the galactic center, they had just an inkling of magic. Kind of like the Alphalan in our original plan. They had magic
Well, there's
on this
also-
planet. They had a lot more when they got to Caledon.
Well, there's also different kinds of magic, right? There's just on Calidor, you've got 5 different kinds of magic. You've got the telepathy that the dragons can use outside the Magisphere. You've got the Metzerkinses, fungal magic. You've got Alon magic, Bondel magic,
Hey,
and they all come from slightly different sources.
Mhm.
do you think
Gotcha.
he's gonna hatch that egg or give it back to him unhatched?
I think he's got to give it back to him unhatched,
Yeah.
and then offer
The dragon.
and then offer to
The dragon
No.
said you can't hatch it.
No, not
The
the dragon.
dragon.
No, we're talking about the
He's
Celestial
already been
Mother.
given back.
Um,
The Celestial Mother's egg, I think he'll have to give it back and unhatch, and then offer to use time magic to hatch it quickly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that that's the route he would go, or do you think he'll try to use now that he's already? So he's screwed with the snowflake in a big way, even waking it up by hurting it. Do you think that? I mean, obviously they know something more is going on now because he said that they could feel it.
Well,
Is
when
that
Mogras, when
timeline up?
Mogras goes back, he doesn't talk to the bundle. They download his brain, and they're gonna know everything.
No, he said earlier on that he can avoid things if they don't ask about it.
Well, they download his brain, and they'll know everything.
Mm-hmm. Our big question we really are missing here is the ending of Mad Mage's Seven Door. What do we think about Sharul now that we're having to go get him?
Yeah, what was
Just
the whole
wondering that.
bring him back thing about? I missed. I don't understand.
I don't know
He
what
didn't
rule
explain
can
it.
do that anyone else can't do. He just has a lot of Arianite, and that's it.
So what you're saying is he needs access to a lot of power to use the lever to do something completely different than originally planned.
Or he needs the Kravani to act as a united force.
Could be.
Maybe that would
They did say that they need all the races of Kalador to work towards this
Yes.
singular purpose in order
Correct.
for it to work. So I think that bringing Sharul into the fold, or trying to sway his thinking, the enemy of my enemy is my friend kind of deal. He could get the Graveni all on track at once.
You get the
Explain that.
Morgana and the other guys who are still with the Dark Lords. Get them
Yeah,
to abandon.
it's necessary though. Lelastian's already gonna tweak their genetics and willing to like help their race, you know.
But she's got to have access to them. The thing is, they're right now in the Dark Vale and out on the Lake of Rainbows.
That's, yeah.
They got to leave
I think-
there to get somewhere where she can access them.
I feel like it's gotta
I
be
think
more
that
consciousness whether
I think that's a good. The Lelastian thing's a good point. Where if that's part of the bargain with Sharul, like we're going to free you from Korbal, and Lelastian here is going to turn your race base
Back in.
level back into what you were supposed to be, re-lengthen your lifespans, give you back your autonomy.
And increase your Raja. Yeah.
I don't think he'd be down with leaving Sharul existing. Like he's really just power directed by a Gravani consciousness. Like he is raw, just magic.
Maybe by free Sharul he means take his skull out of the globe of Erionite entirely.
Yes.
Oh.
Consciousness in an actual Gravani or something.
Put him to rest peacefully.
That's all good. I don't know. It's good.
We have some speculation on that now. Then, okay.
Yeah. Have no idea. But him needing that sure came out of left field.
Yeah,
What else did he need?
it came out of Mind Ward if we're talking about this.
But hey, Dave is here.
Yes, we invite Dave to speak.
No, come on. No, Dave.
Yes, that's a Dave.
Well,
Huh?
He's not talking about us. That's okay.
Oh. Got to fix his mic. No,
Can you hear me?
yes.
There you are.
Hi everybody.
Hello.
I just left the work too. It was all very emotional. We just had someone leave.
Oh.
So very good. Apart from the fact he gets to go and work for a theme park in their data center, and his first day at work, like he's been invited just to go on all the rides and have a fun day. And just like that is his first day at work. I mean, come on.
I mean, you have a great time with that
Hey,
first
my
day.
dad worked for Walt Disney in California, and we did that through my whole childhood.
Wow.
Back in the day.
Oh.
Yeah.
thanks
Don't
for the
think I'm
conversation.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep. My dad was
Cool.
working
What-
for Walt.
What
kind of rides are at Disney Calador?
Didn't we have like a thing about oh there's no space spider, stop that. No. But didn't we have like a whole pamphlet for Foot Wizard? I mean, we clearly see there's some rides around the place and a safari zone, some other
You climb the
stuff.
mountains, you could go into the lava tunnels and explore. They took you down to where the crystal controls are on the edge of that
Mm-hmm.
abandoned village that the lizard people used to have.
Oh, that's
They
so
did our
awesome.
technology.
Question: was there a regular old Disney theme park on Perwin with just roller coasters and theme rides?
More like Adventureland. Go see the animals, go look at the forest,
You know,
go climb the mountain.
if Min ever has to go back, are we going to see Disneyland? Just in the distance, like that part over there, that's Disneyland. Oh, okay, and then
Yeah.
moves on.
It's going to be Fantasia.
Uh-huh. Just gonna see random weird metal spires and structures. Like, what is this?
Well, we got to
Take
find
a
out.
Disney
though,
cruise, go see the Leviathans.
Yep.
Hey!
So we got to find out about the lizard people. They were an advanced society once.
Clearly we need to have some reference to Under the Sea.
Under the sea.
There were at least two aquatic species that were invited, we're told. So maybe there's other, like, villages of other creatures besides the bundle down there.
Well, there's something like 5,000 other aquatic races that we haven't met. We've only seen the bundle.
What
Yeah.
what subjects have we been discussing this evening?
Good
Spiders.
stuff.
We did
No,
spiders.
no, we did not do spiders. We are not speaking of spiders. There is no such thing as space spiders. Now, other than that,
Hey, at
We-
least these ones don't have laser rifles and jetpacks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Yet.
Lord, we've talked about the Hawkster pockets and other kinds of travel across Halador. Let's see here. What else did we cover?
What is Azar going to do? We all took guesses at his
Yep.
future.
We talked about an MMP.
Paris.
Yeah.
About the dagger,
The
Forsaken.
dagger. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, did we decide, is it the same dagger or is it a different dagger?
We think it's the same.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like, I think, based off everyone's discussion.
We think it's the same?
Yeah.
The description is a little bit different.
It's also 600 years older.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we think we had a discussion on whether it's sentient or
Mm-hmm.
What, the dagger?
not. Yeah.
Oh, we discussed the various
Well,
intelligence
Aline
levels.
does say that he feels something calling to him when he pulls the dagger out of its sheath a little bit, and then he puts it back and forgets
Real quick.
about it. So
Yep.
I think it's when you take the dagger out, it starts to talk to you.
It's the singing sword.
But it may also, if it's Deca based, it might need a charge.
Yeah.
I thought it was the Eerie Knight, the power, that was called it.
All the more
that
reason
kind
to
of
keep it
draw,
sheathed.
that Page I get
Well,
to
that could be so.
Eerie Knight when they first, because he wasn't augmented. I don't think he was augmented at the time.
Mm.
And I just remember the vivid descriptions from book 1 and book 2 of like
Right.
when a mage first connects to Eerie Knight and all of that feeling. But I don't know, but yeah.
I think it's possibly got an AI in it, or possibly it's sentient.
I think we also discussed magic around the universe, the history of the human species, and what was it?
Iron.
Oh, the Forsaken, and what do we think of their influence if they can come back from the space station? Because we know that Forseti is working on returning them. So we've had quite the gamut of conversation today.
Far ranging.
Yeah.
We talked about Serenity, we talked about the 18 there, and about Rossetti attempting to get the docking clamps to release
Mm-hmm.
so we can fly Serenity down. Or maybe program it down, I don't know.
Here's
So
a
if
question
we-
out of left field.
If we take 2 steps back from huge plot developments and the whole arc of the story, the series moving forward, what characters are we hoping to see in the next few books? Are there any characters that people are like, what are they doing? And what's that person doing? Does that come up at all?
Well,
people have been
classically on
asking
these,
about
we
Ayugi.
Tarakim.
Oh,
Archie.
oh, we suggested that Azar, because we know that he's doing something weird after the Curia and he has proposed or done something, we are suspecting he is marching with the Fox down into Faris so that he can be the one to claim the peninsula.
Yep, and get the baronies.
Okay.
I feel he's very underwhelmed.
But I suggested also that Min's going to go undercover to Faris and sneak over to the Temple of Arvadas
Could be.
to talk to the engineers and read the scrolls and the books that he needs.
Use
Yeah,
the telescope.
I think it's the Avitaline temple. The
Yeah. Because
The
it's
temple
the
of
engineers. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
God of magic, God of magic and engineering.
See, this is why we need you, Dave. We mess up the names. We know, like, in general what's going on, but we mess up the names.
Yep. But I think
fine.
he's going to go there because he's been told now at least 5 times in different books that he needs to go there.
I mean,
Well,
if we go based off what he's been told in several
that was the
books,
plan.
he's going to be the
Yeah,
Archmage.
but that was the plan in Arcanus
Mm-hmm.
back in book 12. But then book 13 just went, there's your expectations, and here's where the story is. All the way on the other side of the bridge.
But we all know we want Abathal and Ovanus and Zuin to actually show up. I mean, we haven't. When's the last time men made a god permanent?
Philosopher?
Yeah.
Thalasha, yeah.
Nova.
Over.
Yep.
Arcanus again.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But then, so much has happened to Middle since then. I don't know. I might just be me. I might just be total geeking out here. But I really want to know what's going on in some of the domains and places we explored, like, novels and novels ago.
Well,
Mm.
we're
Like in the
gonna get to the
Westward.
Broken Islands.
We did
Eddie's
talk
got a
about
similar vote.
whether or not Vor will be following Merwin. Will Merwin, having a new seat, new person in the seat, be giving any kind of bonus to Midland for getting him into the seat? So yeah, we might see. Yeah,
Might the Duke swear fealty to the new king, to the king.
yeah, or just give some kind of bonus to Midland, maybe land, power, whatever.
Make him Archmage of Merwin.
Ooh,
Yep. Or War.
Ooh.
oh, shivers.
Or Vor. Oh, you just give him Vor.
Just give him Vor.
Sorry, Med. What was the guy called that? Is the Duke of Vor? Medcalf or something, I think.
He's the same
Yeah.
age as Minoland, isn't he?
Yeah, he was just. I think he was spoilt and drunk. I think we met him in the the Coronet Council back in
Mhm.
Maidstone, and yeah, he was not happy about anything really.
Nope.
But
He was
I'm waiting. I think we're going to have a female SmackDown at the God level, where somebody goes after that female god that's down in the Westlands, causing the.
Talita.
Yeah. Oh.
She's gonna put her quid clothes on again and go smack her down.
So it was said that the gods tried to interrupt him there at the end. Do we feel that because he has rebuffed them that they are gonna make him pay for that?
I asked Terry that. He kind of afraid that question. I did not get an answer. I said, how many times can men disrespect the gods and then not take action? Brigga, 5 or 6 times she told him, stop, don't do that, this is dangerous, you know what you're doing, and he did it anyhow.
Yeah, but it always works out, so maybe they're just kind of thinking, well, maybe we're not as omniscient as we thought. Okay.
Yeah.
Just listen, though. They're
They've
gods.
got limits though, and then I don't know. I think that
In one setting, he upset Trigg, Ishchi, and Brigga. I mean,
Well,
come on.
he has threatened Ishii a few times with her permanence. I mean, it was a false bluff back then. I don't know if it's still, but they don't know that.
Right. That's true.
I gotta wonder if eventually Huan is made permanent, will he be a little miffed at Brigga? Like, you've been permanent this whole time. We're supposed to be married, and you just left me off in ignorance.
Oh yes, and then you've got Harris as well. He's been quiet for a little while now.
Yeah, yeah.
Travelers, yeah.
I wonder what traveling he's doing.
I think we last heard from Harris in the road to Vanador think, what was the place called? Cheerford.
Yeah.
Cheerford Inn or something.
Oh, Kuthier was also like in
Kuthier,
between. Good lord, how many do we have running around now? Let's see, Kuthier.
Well,
I
he said-
suspect that Lewin has used Brother Bright once or twice so far.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yep. Most certainly.
Yeah, as a bit of an avatar.
We may
Yeah.
find out Brother Bird is Lewin.
Oh.
I think that Lewin
Well-
wouldn't want to be permanent because that's screwing with the laws of nature, and he doesn't abide by that.
Ah, yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a really good insight, yeah. Well, also, like, Rudy can look at an enneagram and know whether it's a god or a human, so...
Yeah, we'd have heard that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
would have been... Because we had some debate a while ago...
But wait a
whether or
minute.
not the
Well, I don't know if
Ethiopian
you-
was
But when he
I don't know if
noticed
you do
that
it in
that's-
Min's presence.
Yeah, because he might have
Take
been.
over while he's drunk and writing new laws.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, he went off on his own to write the new
Would
laws.
you notice it if he's just the avatar and not the actual physical god?
Yeah,
He
like
did, he went away at
when
Luthor
Ishii
to write-
isn't.
Yeah. In Baroness...
Ishii can
I
leave.
thought it was Allura who spotted that issue that possessed Amity.
Yeah,
Well, that was only because she had been told.
Yes.
So Baroness Amity, it was Everkeen that figured it out. But like Auntie May had already told Allura
Yeah.
that she was Ishii in disguise because
Never King went nuts, but they didn't know who. It was Allura who said who she was and what she was. I think it was in prophecy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just because she was already told in the stories that she had been told over their life.
You know, I think that was my favorite reveal was those prophecies, because we get down to it, and then they're meeting in council. The dragon's attacking Verona. And by the way, you know you're having triplets, mistress.
Yeah.
Best moment. Just like, what? Drink the wine. I'm passing out.
Yep. Drink the mead. Drink the mead. I told Terry I want that as a t-shirt.
That's one of my favorite bits of folklore from this world is the 7 bottles of mead and the 7-day honeymoon.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's great. I wish I had read the book before I got married. I would have integrated that.
Yeah. I think someone did that as well. One of the t-shirts I'd quite like is Listen Responsibly. Because, you know, I don't know if you guys know, but a while back we were on an AMA, or Terry was talking about some of the fans that contacted him. Some of them have been lorry drivers from the States, and when some parts of the books are happening, it's so hysterical that this one guy confessed he nearly wiped out a whole group of cars because he couldn't stop laughing like what he was listening to in one of Terry's books.
Mm-hmm.
So then we came up with a slogan, instead of drink responsibly, is listen responsibly
Mm-hmm.
to the Spellmonger.
It's a needed statement.
But do we think Min's going to set up an arch at that UN village, wherever it is? And is he going to set one up across the ocean where the Alpha-Long Kings are?
I think that depends on how far they can go. Because we're still at that point where we have no idea how far they go.
He said that the distance didn't matter in the
Right.
equation, at least in theory. He could put it anywhere, even though his human sensibilities were saying maybe take it a step at a time.
The waves had a limit. This doesn't have a limit that we know of.
Yeah, this is moving through space itself, not using the planet's curvature.
But it also, I think it's very clever, like, that the limit on waystone travel or waypoint travel has come about because that explains why the High Kings and the other Alpacas realms don't just pop across and visit each other and support each other in times of trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Just another interesting
Why
bit
they're
of-
all in weird locations.
Yeah, almost like they're as far apart as they can go between way jumps or something. Yeah.
As I look at the clock, we have had this for an hour and 20 minutes recording. I hate to say it, I need to get going soon. I'm happy to have the stage stay up, but there will be no more recording for today here, I think.
I'm gonna pop off as well because I'm driving back. But I wish everyone well. I just wanted to jump in and say hi.
Okay.
We're back in 2 weeks.
Yep.
See you in 2 weeks. And we didn't get Terry, which is a shame.
It is.